Hey, Eric. How you doing tonight?
Hey, John. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right.
That's good. That's not
Um,
fantastic, but okay.
it's been a very long day. Wednesdays have become very long days for me. So
I
it's
I'm
fine.
sorry. I'm
It's all
sorry.
good.
It is good. It's all good.
It's better than Friday being a long day.
Yeah,
Friday is typically a shorter day, which is nice.
that's true.
So,
That's true. That's true. Wow. Yeah. I got 2 shots today, and I got a couple prescriptions. I'm should be
those
going
kind of shots. Okay,
should
gotcha.
should be going to India in a few weeks. So my
Oh,
first trip. So I'm really excited about it.
I'm
Um,
excited to hear your report back.
okay.
Uh,
Me three, and I'm gonna get to stay over a weekend. So I don't yet quite know what I'm gonna do that's fun, but I'm going to do something fun while I'm there. Um,
Mysore. That's what people.
that was on the list that one
Yeah.
of our friends gave me.
It's like I think it's 2+ hour drive out of Bangalore, but apparently it's a beautiful castle or, anyways, a palace, like an
Yeah.
ancient palace. So
Okay.
I have been to India multiple times. I've been told that's the place you got to go, and I never went because I was never there long enough. And the one time I was there over a weekend, it was elections, and no one was around to drive me.
Oh, bummer.
So
Bummer.
yeah,
So yeah. Well, anyway, I got a couple shots this afternoon, and a couple of things I got to pick up at the pharmacy.
okay,
But exciting about that. Other than that, my arm's a little sore.
that's all
But
right.
my arms were a little sore anyway, though, because my big weekend project was we're sort of building a chicken palace. I
I
forget how
saw the
much I have
picture.
said on the podcast, if anything, but
It's not a coupe.
it's not. I mean,
By definition, it's a coupe.
by definition, it's a coupe, sure, but it's gonna be pretty nice. It's gonna be pretty nice, I think.
Yeah.
So,
These
um,
chickens are living in luxury.
yeah, amortization on a per egg basis is how, how, how do you
The
like your
goose that laid the
your
golden
20
egg.
$20 breakfast sandwich?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But the net of it is that I was putting an arbor off the front of the shed that will become a coop, and
Okay, cool.
so which meant I had to dig 2 post holes, and I could have gotten out the tractor. My wife was like, "Why aren't you getting out the tractor? It'll take like 2 minutes to drill a deep hole." And I was like, I only need 2 holes, and I have to change implements, blah 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 blah. So I just did it with a post hole digger, but hey, it's good. I mean,
It's a
people
workout. It's a
people
workout.
pay to go to
That's right.
gyms. Is what I say,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
so yeah. Anyway, but my arms were already a little sore from that, and so we did the posts on Saturday, and then I put the rest of the stuff up on Sunday. And then also I built the wall inside because you're going to go into the shed, and then there will be a wall, and so half of it, 2/3 of it will be for the chickens, and then a third of it will be for feed, and I
Right.
have to build a nesting box. A roll-away nesting box is next on my list of things to build. But anyway, it's all good. Other than the fact that the weather is coming, and I really have to have this.
The weather is
I
coming. Yeah,
really
yeah.
have to have this done before I go on a trip. So I have the month of October to
Say it starts
finish
raining
this
Friday.
project. Eh,
Eh,
you know.
Not so much next week, but
Oh man,
Anywho,
is this farm talk? Can this be farm talk? You can cut this out if you want.
mostly farm.
Mostly farm. We have I said to you that we rented a bull? I literally
I No
in
one can see my face after you said that sentence, but it was very blank.
well,
You rented a bull.
my
Is there a
neighbor.
purpose? Do you have a
Well,
cow?
I have 2 cows, and my
Okay, now
neighbor.
I see
we
a
might,
reason for renting a
yeah,
bull.
we used to just like let our cow. We only had one, but a couple year and a half ago, when we had our most recent calf, it was a girl, and my wife was like, kind of want to keep her. I'm like, okay. So now we have two, and so
Okay.
anyway, we used to just let them into our neighbor's pasture and bought him a couple of 50-pound bags of cow feed, and that was a trade that was very
Trade.
easy.
Yeah.
But when it comes time, I'm like, I don't. What are we supposed to do? And my wife was like, "Well, here's our options. Don't do it. Take them somewhere, which they are not trailerable really, and we don't have a trailer that we can take them somewhere.
Okay.
Artificial insemination or rent a bull, like, and the rent a
Okay.
bull they deliver. They deliver, and it's like, again, amortization doesn't really make sense because we only have two cows. You would normally do this for a small herd,
Right.
but whatever. I mean, it still actually will work out, and presumably then in another 10 months we will have four
Four
cows.
Okay.
and the bull will go back after a month. So
So
Anyway.
you basically get to board a bull for a month,
yes,
and then you're hoping
Yes.
that month is enough time.
they work it out.
Okay. Okay.
So-
I am not a bull expert by any means, or so. If that's how it works, I'm all right. I'm good.
But anyway, yeah. So anyway, I I think yeah, it'll happen right before I take off to India.
Okay.
So anyway, should be fun and exciting.
Well, my weekend pales in comparison to that story. Mine's a very Portland story, I suppose, is one way to put it.
Okay.
I try to recycle things.
Of
I'm not the
course.
best at it, but I try to, if it's easy to do, I will put in a little extra effort to try recycling, right? So
Okay.
I collect styrofoam, like that packing stuff that you get. Like, I order way too much stuff off Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm sure you
Unfortunately,
resemble this.
I know what you mean.
And you get those styrofoam packing things, and they're just bulk that fill up trash cans. And so
Now, are you talking the peanuts or the like folded, melded, shaped stuff that
the
goes
melded
around?
shaped things, like
Okay.
anything that, is shaped, you could burn it, but that's bad.
That would be bad. Don't do
Right.
that.
So don't do that. So anyways, there was a place about 20 minutes from my house where you could take styrofoam, and they recycled it. Like, and so Saturday, we kind of
Did they really, or did they?
They had tons of it. I mean, you would go and people were unloading it, and they just had huge bins of it. I
Wow.
don't know what they did. Did they repack it? Did they squish it and I don't know what they did with it, but it was like a Portland metro area approved styrofoam recycling place.
Fantastic.
I'm like, great.
Okay.
And so we'd collect stuff over time. And then every once a month or every couple of months, I would take a load out there. Well, this last Saturday, I go out there, and it's now the company is no longer there, or they got bought by somebody. And there's a big sign that says, no styrofoam recycling. Do not leave your styrofoam recycling at the gate. Because apparently, I'm sure some people said,
I'm sure
the
lots of
gate's
people are like,
closed. I'll just
I'll
drop
just-
off my recycling there. So they don't do it anymore.
That'll be convenient for them.
Yeah, it's some new company or whatever. So I'm like, well, now what do I do with all this stuff? So I get on my phone and Google another place that's out in Hillsborough. So now I'm in Tigard, like the opposite direction
Okay.
of where I need to go. And I find this place in Hillsborough that says, and not being incredibly dumb, I think I'll call them. Call, no answer, call, no answer, and it gives me
Of course.
someone's on the line. I'm like, what else am I doing today? I'll just drive out there. So I drive out there, and I get there, and they
Is
say,
this the transfer station over behind Home Depot?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they say, we used to do that. We don't do styrofoam recycling anymore. Here is a phone number that you can call to ask Portland where to do it. And at that point, it was over in Gresham, like the opposite side.
Oh my gracious.
And I'm like, I don't want to go there. So I did a bad thing and just threw it out in a big trash dump behind not my trash dump to put it in. You know, one of those, rolling bins that. So I won't say where so I don't get myself in trouble, but it was like I had just
You're like, I've got a whole
50 miles by
car
this point.
full.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, come on.
50 miles in an electric car, though, right? So it's it's at least not like burning gas.
Correct. So this is me in the little tiny Mini, the electric Mini. So it only goes 100 miles on a full charge, and by Saturday I was down like I could go 16 more miles. I'm like, I can get home at this point, but I can't. So I was like, that's a trash dump. No one's around. I'll just throw it in there. So I tried, but that's my story.
Well,
I really tried, and I just didn't want to go.
I commend you for trying.
Anyways,
I'd say it's the thought that counts, but
I still failed.
Sometimes thoughts count.
Sometimes. Anyways, there you go. That's my weekend story.
Okay, that's pretty funny. Okay, well.
Yeah. You want a topic?
Hit me. What'd you bring?
All right. So I got a couple of short ones. So Ireland.
Okay.
Decide that a certain social media company needed to be fined $101 million for storing hundreds of millions of user passwords in plaintext.
What?
Hold. The sentence is not finished. And making them broadly available to company employees.
Oh.
So apparently, I think we actually talked about this a long time ago.
Wow.
Because Meta, it was Facebook. Meta disclosed the lapse in early 2019. So the Irish something or other has been investigating Meta on the details of what that breach was, or that lapse was years ago. And apparently they decided, all right, now it's time to fine you the $101 million. I assume that's translated to US dollars for whatever the Irish euros would be. 91 million euros is the math. Anyways, my favorite part of the article is, it's an Ars Technica, is from Graham Doyle, the Deputy Commissioner of Ireland's Data Protection Commission. He said, "It is widely accepted that user passwords should not be stored in plain text, considering the risk of abuse that arises from persons accessing such data. It must be borne in mind that the passwords, the subject of consideration in this case, are particularly sensitive as they would enable access to users' social media accounts." He's not wrong.
And even in 2019.
In 2019.
We knew about how to safely store passwords.
Yeah. So that long ago. Anyway, and then it kind of has a couple other things. The European Union has fined Facebook up to this point more than 2 billion euros for various violations. This is just another paltry 91 million euros. For this time around. So that's our article number one.
I prefer the 101. I don't know why. It just reminds me of 101 Dalmatians. It's also binary, so
Yeah. So
okay.
5.
It's 5.
Exactly. All right, and so my second article, and I know we talked about this, I want to say a year ago.
Okay.
Where Google Gmail has now implemented new password rules for Google Workspace, Workplace. So users of Google's Workspace can no longer just log in with a username and a password.
I remember this, I think.
Yeah.
We talk
So
about a lot of stuff.
yeah, so they gave notice about a year ago that they were going to do away with the antiquated sign-in method that is username and password to reduce risk of compromise to Gmail users. And Google's requiring all Google Workspace customers to log in with a more secure type of access for apps wanting access to Gmail data. So that
Meaning passkeys? Meaning
passkeys, OAuth,
OAuth? Okay.
so several different ways. The article has a list of kind of what they are, but the other key point to this that I think we also pointed out is personal Gmail account holders are not impacted. So
Yet.
yeah, exactly. Yet is the way to end that sentence. You can still, for your personal Gmail account, log in with a username and password, but apparently, and I'm not quite sure. I've never even looked at this, so I don't know what this really means, other than I think you could swap between IMAP and POP in the good old days with Gmail. But the impact for personal Gmail account holders is you can no longer toggle the IMAP Internet Mail Access Protocol from your Gmail account settings. Google has said IMAP access is always enabled over OAuth, and your current connections will not be impacted. So if you have set up a mail app using
Like on the
IMAP
phone.
on your phone for personal Gmail,
Yeah.
that still works. You're not going to be impacted. So that's kind of my number two. If you Google Workspace, you have probably noticed
Trying to remember.
changes.
I mean, I think it's been a while since I hooked up a Gmail account on a phone, but my recollection is that they'd used sort of the OAuth.
Yeah,
Here's your login page. You log in, get a token, and then they're storing and using the token.
correct. Yeah. So, anyways, there you go. There's my two quick hit topics.
Okay. Very
Your
nice.
personal Gmail account is not impacted yet.
Yet.
All right.
All right. Yes, I have two as well. So the first one is a Kia wired car vulnerability. I got this from Zach Whitaker's article, but
I did see this.
yeah. So we've talked about access to cars over the internet a number of times on the podcast, but this was a particularly easy one, evidently. There was a comment at the top of the article about how it used to be hard. But now that cars are connected and they enable lots of remote controls over the internet, if your application security foo is not, it can lead to problems. So this, they detail in the article here, and there's a great video at the top of the article that shows a couple of researchers. I presume that they are sitting at a Kia that is owned by the journalist or a willing party, because they show how they use just the license plate to get access to the Kia account, find the VIN, with the VIN get access to and add themselves as a manager of that car. And at that point, they can load it up in their own Kia app. They can see its location, and they can honk the horn, unlock or lock the doors, start the engine, do all the things that you can do remotely. They can't drive away because there's a what do they call it? You have to actually have the key to be able to put it in gear, but you can do lots of other stuff to it.
Oh yeah.
So, a couple of one of the scary quotes in here really is, since all it started with is a license plate. If someone cut you off in traffic, you could scan their license plate. I'm reading this here. You could scan their license plate and then know where they were whenever you wanted and break into their car, says Curry. If we hadn't brought this to Kia's attention, anybody who could query someone's license plate could essentially stalk them. For Kias that come installed with a 360-degree camera, that camera too was accessible to hackers. Beyond allowing the hijacking of connected features in cars themselves, the web portal flaw allowed hackers to query a broad range of personal information about Kia customers, names, email addresses, phone numbers, home addresses, and even past driving routes in some cases.
Nice.
So, yeah, how's that for exciting? Yeah. So, let's see. Another point here is after the researchers alerted Kia to the problem in June, months ago, Kia appears to have fixed the vulnerability in its web portal, though it told Wired at the time it was still investigating the group's findings and hasn't responded to Wired's emails since then.
Yeah.
And while it says in August, Kia told the researchers it had validated their findings and was working on a permanent fix for the problem. Now, that previous paragraph said that they had fixed it, but the farther down in the article near the end, it says Kia hasn't updated the researchers since or responded to Wired's questions. But after the standard 90-day window given to companies to fix security issues, the hackers decided to go public with their findings, though they haven't released their Kia hacking proof of concept application and don't plan to.
Sure.
So good for them, kind of. I mean, good for them. But
balance.
Yeah. So come on, Kia. Come on, Hyundai. Kia is owned by Hyundai. I have a Hyundai.
I was going to say, I know someone who has one. Okay.
I would have to imagine that if the same vulnerability existed on the Hyundai side, they would have said something in there, but who knows? I would not, probably would not be a safe assumption to make.
Never know.
There you go. That's the first one.
Okay.
So the second one, this is actually a little bit older, but we didn't talk about it last week, I don't think.
It's also exciting.
Again, exciting is a word, and words can be used in different places. So this is Kaspersky silently uninstalling itself and installing a different AV system on all devices that it managed in the United States. So I think we mentioned a couple months ago that, Kaspersky was added to the entity list so that it was deemed a quote-unquote national security concern in June.
Right.
And the administration also announced at the time a ban on sales and software updates for Kaspersky antivirus software in the United States, starting on September 29th. So a few days ago.
Yep.
So evidently, Kaspersky mailed their customers saying they would continue receiving, quote, reliable cybersecurity protection from a company. Well, the product is named Ultra AV. I'll be honest, I haven't ever heard of this. But it's owned by the Pango Group. I actually went out and looked at what Pango Group. They have a bunch of VPN software and other cybersecurity products. But I know nothing about them. I presume that Kaspersky was trying to get, and this is complete and utter speculation on my part, Kaspersky was going to lose management and visibility over all these clients, and so they, did they do a deal? Did they sell them? Who knows? Sell access? But it says that the emails failed to inform Kaspersky users that the Kaspersky products would be abruptly deleted and replaced, which you would think would be sort of top of the list.
Yeah.
In your communication.
This is going to be in business school PR use case studies or something.
Here's a Harvard Business Review article.
Yeah, exactly. How not to do things. I
Yeah.
mean, they didn't learn from when Apple pushed the new YouTube album to a bunch of Gen Z folks. I mean, come
And that
on,
was
it's the
literally
same.
a free song or a free music.
People
Yeah.
don't like being given free crap that
Don't
they
touch
aren't
my
unaware of.
stuff. Don't
Yeah.
touch my stuff.
Anyways,
Yeah. So so what else
it's
in
not
here?
like you couldn't have predicted this reaction. I feel like
You know,
someone in
I
a
feel
meeting probably said, "Do you think people won't like this?" Because clearly there was collaboration. I mean, it had to get it all set up for both sides.
oh, 100,
So
you had to.
the
You
one
know,
guy in the room who had, was like drowned out by the but money. That's
but exactly. I was gonna say, but money, and who knows? I don't know if it was $1, $100, $100,000, $100 million. I mean,
yeah.
I'm gonna go somewhere between $1 and $100 million. um, and both of those are tongue in cheek, but um, yeah. So let's see what else. So here's a comment. To make things worse, while some users could uninstall Ultra AV using the software's uninstaller, those who tried removing it using uninstall apps saw it reinstalled after a reboot. So there's some deep persistence mechanism.
Uh huh.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Well,
Okay.
some also found they had Ultra VPN installed, likely because they had a Kaspersky VPN subscription. So,
Nice.
you know, there's more than one. And then there literally was a quote in the article. So this is not John talking. Quote, not much is known about Ultra AV. Besides being part of the Pango group, which controls multiple VPN brands.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So
That's one way to branch out.
uh, adjacency. Okay. So the quote from the article though, or from the message from Kaspersky to their customers though, was quote, on September 30th, 2024, Kaspersky will no longer be able to support or provide product updates to your service. This puts you at substantial risk for cybercrime. Well, I would like
Those
to.
also are words.
I would like to. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there.
All
Okay.
right. We're gonna go talk about something fun.
Yeah. How about something fun, my friend?
Okay. So mine, I thought was pretty cool. I just saw this earlier this evening. That I love the first sentence. A fruit fly might not be the smartest organism, but scientists can still learn a lot from its brain. So the images are super cool in this article.
Okay. I have not
So
looked at this, so I will click on it now.
researchers have been mapping the neurons in a fruit fly's brain. So they have connected 140,000 neurons
Whoa.
and captured more than 54.5 million synapses, and it looks super cool. Sidebar, this is my favorite quote in the article. This is a huge deal, says Clay Reed, a neurobiologist at the Allen Institute for Brain Science in Seattle, Washington, who was not involved in the project, but who has worked with one of the team members who was. So
Okay.
it's kind of like, the friend you're quoting, I wasn't there, but I know the cousin, that you remember the Marvel movies where that
Yeah.
guy in the Ant-Man would go, it's so-and-so's
Oh,
cousin's
right,
brother,
right,
who
right,
whatever.
right.
That's what I pictured in this sentence here. Anyways, it
My
continues.
mother's sister's daughter's cousin.
Exactly.
Husband.
That's how that read to me, and probably just because I was in a humorous mood. But anyways, no offense.
The
Clay
image, that
Reed.
top image is gorgeous.
Isn't that cool?
I assume those two big lobes off to the side are the eyes with the optic nerves.
Something. Anyways, it's been this long map. The two neuroscientists who are part of the creators and a consortium known as Flywire is neuroscientist Mala Murthy and Sebastian Seung at Princeton University in New Jersey. So
Okay.
they have been developing this fly wire map for more than 4 years using electron microscopy images of slices of the fly's brain. And the researchers and their colleagues stitched together all the data to form a full map of the brain with the help of AI tools. All right,
AI, all the
helping out.
things.
AI, all the things. While the tools aren't perfect, the wiring diagram also need to be checked for errors. They spent a great time manually proofreading the data, and they invited volunteers to help. It's like SETI at home, but fruit fly brain, neuron SETI at home.
Fly brain at home.
Fly brain at home. And they made 3 million manual edits.
Ooh.
So that's how much detail. And a lot of this took place in 2020 when fly researchers were at loose ends and working from home during the COVID-19 pandemic. So, you know, Brandon Sanderson writes 4 novels. Fly researchers wire fruit fly brains together. Anyways, the other cool thing in here, and then I'll finish, is they tested the map by activating neurons that they knew either sent sweet or bitter tastes. And then they watched the neurons launch a cascade of signals into the virtual fly's brain, ultimately triggering the motor neurons tied to the fly's proboscis. You know, the tongue, right?
Uh-huh.
And then when the sweet circuit was activated, the signal for extending the proboscis was transmitted as if the insect were preparing to feed. And when it was the bitter one was activated, the signal was inhibited. To validate their findings, they activated those same neurons in a real fruit fly. It's hard for me to say fruit fly for some reason.
I concur. Fruit fly is hard to say.
Flute Fry.
Flute fry. What do you call a bunch of high school orchestra students?
Flute fries.
Sorry.
The researchers learnt. Is learnt a word?
Learnt is a word, but that doesn't seem like a great use of it.
The researchers learnt that the simulations were more than 90% accurate in predicting which neurons would respond and therefore how the fly would behave. So they mapped the brain, they tested the virtual brain, and then they went to a real fruit fly and said, poke, poke, hey, looks like we got it right 90% of the time. Anyways, I just thought this was super cool. The coolest part really is the picture, but there you go. There's my something fun for this week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I haven't watched the video. There's a short video there.
Yes, there's a short video. There's the picture. It's kind of fun.
All right.
Good stuff.
Gotta put that. I'll have to put that picture as the chapter art.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
All right.
Okay. My something fun is also biological in nature, but is not so erudite as brains.
Fruit fly brains.
Yes. Although maybe it's related a little bit, but obliquely. So this is a connection between Alzheimer's and certain types of cancer, in particular colon cancer, and the inverse relationship. So scientists have recognized
Alzheimer's is a cure for cancer?
No, there is an inverse relationship between people with Alzheimer's and the incidence of colorectal cancer in people that get Alzheimer's. But this study isn't studying people, it is studying mice. But they were able to go both directions. They were able to suppress they were able to suppress colon cancer, and they were able to inhibit the immunity to colon cancer. Well, both ways. So they prove. I would say maybe proved is too harsh of a word yet, or too high of a standard yet. There is good evidence that it's not just coincidental. There's some causal nature in there. So here's a couple quotes. So among mice with symptoms of Alzheimer's, researchers in China noticed a lower incidence of colorectal cancer than is typical. When these mice were given a stool transplant from a healthy mouse, their rate of cancer in the colon and rectum returned to normal. So you are maybe not immune, but lower incidence to, oh, okay, now we can make that go away. When those mice were given a transplant from a healthy mouse, their rate of cancer returned to normal. So the evidence here, it says, strongly indicates certain intestinal microbes shape the immune system in ways that impact the brain. Previous studies on rodents have linked gut microbiome to symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. In recent groundbreaking experiments, stool transplants were even found to pass on memory impairment issues from one rodent to another. So they could remove the immunity, again, too harsh of a word, but remove the incidence, the lower rate of incidence in cancer by one transplant one way. And they were able to create memory impairment by transplanting the other way. So, in a series of experiments at the first hospital of Hebei Medical University in China, researchers found that mice with Alzheimer's-like symptoms showed resistance to colon cancer when the disease was artificially induced. So then that's kind of the next thing. It's so if we try and force colon cancer, are you actually resistant to it? You know, is there something that's actually actively protecting you?
Alzheimer's.
Huh. So at the end of the day, I like to just like break a little bit of, because I love this, like what's the conclusion at the end? Would you like colon cancer or would you like Alzheimer's? Because they exist on a teeter-totter in some way. But so let's see. So it goes on. So it says, so they are tracing this to the intestinal inflammation among the mice when the disease was artificially introduced appears to be suppressed. And when a fecal transplant from a healthy younger mouse was given to the mouse with Alzheimer's-like symptoms, the suppression was lifted. So then they go and they study, or they try and do a survey of what microbes in the gut might be related, and they have at least one. It says they came across several candidates, including a gram-negative bacteria called Prevotella. And when mice were treated with Prevotella bacteria, the gut produced fewer pro-inflammatory immune cells, even when the mouse was exposed to dangerous pathogens. And when mice were treated with Prevotella-derived compounds, the animals showed cognitive dysfunction and resistance to tumor development in their rectum and colon. So, not Alzheimer's, but trying to induce the actual causal relationship. So, this is biological/experimental evidence supporting an inverse relationship between the incidence of Alzheimer's disease and colon cancer. So, like I said, you can choose pick your poison. But
what is gram-negative bacteria?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I am not a biologist.
If you want.
I'm not a biologist. Sorry.
I got hung up on the gram-negative bacteria and then Prevotella. Is that something peanut butter chocolate that you spread on toast? So
that would be hazelnut and chocolate, but
hazelnut, thank you.
Or at least Nutella. No,
All right.
There are many things I do not know.
I like your teeter-totter analogy because I was thinking, here's how to cure colon cancer. Just give people Alzheimer's. Kind of, but not.
But I mean, can you imagine like I'm trying to picture like the future science is, or future medicine is all about sort of managing your microbiome.
Yeah.
I read a lot of stuff that,
hey, they got yogurts for all sorts of things that do that in your gut already. So get you some Prevotella Activa with Prevotella.
except yeah, the in Prevotella derived compounds induced cognitive dysfunction is not where I want to go.
Which my wife would say, "Oh, so normal, you, Eric."
It's all
Anyways,
good. It's all
good
good.
stuff.
Okay, there you go. Something fun. All
Cool.
right, my friend. Have
All
a great
right,
night.
John.
I will talk to you later.
We'll see you.
Bye,
Bye.
Eric.